Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can access your self-hosted applications safely, securely on the internet using a domain name and an SSL without needing to do any port forwarding. But first, a quick message from today's video sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Linode, the largest independent cloud computing provider. If you don't want to, or can't for whatever reason, self-host applications the way we talk about on this channel, Linode provides virtual servers that make it easy and affordable for you to host anything in the cloud. You can set up any of the applications that they have available in their marketplace with just a few clicks, or you can set up your own Docker VPS and install basically whatever you'd like in a Docker container. They have load balancers and firewalls available to help keep your apps online and safe. If you run into any trouble getting set up, Linode comes with amazing 24/7 customer support by phone or ticket, along with hundreds of guides and tutorials to help you get started. Sign up today at linode.com/dvtech and get a $100 60-day credit on your new Linode account. Links are in the description. So this is a system that I've implemented on my server for the most part. I'm actually going to finish setting this up on my server with you guys kind of in real time here. While we're on this, I'm going to disable port forwarding for ports 80 and port 443 on my network so that I no longer have those ports exposed to the internet. The way we're going to do that is actually using CloudFlare. So there are a few prerequisites to this. The first one is you'll need a domain name. That's pretty straightforward. You can pick one up basically anywhere you'd like to pick one up, but I like to get my domains from Porkbun. They're not sponsoring this. They're not involved in this at all. That's just where I get my domain names. You're also going to need a CloudFlare account. They're free. You can just go to cloudflare.com, sign up for one, and that's basically all you need to do there. And then you'll need to actually point your domain to Cloudflare. And when you go to Cloudflare and log into your account, you'll click on add a site, and it will actually walk you through step by step how to do that. It will ask you who your registrar is and give you very specific instructions on how to add your domain. And that's it. Those are the prerequisites to this setup. You'll need a domain name and a Cloudflare account, and that's it. Again, it doesn't matter if you can't port forward because we're not going to do that anyway. So let me show you how simple this really is. So here we are on my Cloudflare dashboard, and we can see that I've got several domains set up. I've got most of these blurred, but what we're actually going to take a look at here is the dbtech.com URL. This is the one where I've got all of the project files and code snippets and all that kind of stuff for different projects. That's the website that we're going to actually put through Cloudflare Tunnels here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click on that. We'll be brought over to here. We've actually got two different domains or two different applications on this domain. We've got one at dbtech.com and then one at analytics.dbtech.com. We're actually going to send both of those through Cloudflare Tunnels. And so let's just actually jump into doing this. Once you've got your domain set up and ready to go, what you're going to do is actually come over here to the Zero Trust dashboard. This will be linked in the description down below, so you don't have to try to figure out where the hell I am. So once you're here, what you're going to want to do is actually create a tunnel. And what we'll do is I will actually just click right here. And we're going to give this tunnel a name. I'm actually going to call this Proxmox because I've actually got a Proxmox server with dbtech.com and analytics.dbtech.com on there. So that's just how I'm going to remember where this tunnel is pointed to. So I'm going to call it Proxmox, like so, and I'm going to save my tunnel. So here we can see that there are several different environments available. So whether you're doing this on Docker or Mac or Windows or whatever, there is an agent that you can install on that system for this to work. I've actually got the Windows version installed on my MB server so that I can tunnel everything through there as well. So I've been able to validate that it works on Windows, on Mac. No, I haven't tested Mac. I don't have a Mac, but I've tested Windows and Docker. So the process is pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do, if we're doing this in Docker, which we're going to do in this particular case, is I'm going to click on Docker. And then I'm going to I'm just going to click this copy right there. Of course, this will be blurred so that you can't see the actual key, or the token rather, but you're going to see something like this. I'm going to click copy like I did there. And then I'm going to come over to my terminal and I'm going to SSH into, I guess I should fix that port issue. Anyway, so now we are logged into my well. So I've got a Proxmox instance set up with Open Media Vault on it when I was just first learning Proxmox. I'm going to change some stuff up, but that's irrelevant. So what we're going to do, I'm going to clear this like so, and then I'm just going to paste in the thing that I copied from before, and I'm going to hit enter. So what this is going to do is actually deploy a tunnel container that will allow our server and CloudFlare to talk to each other through an encrypted channel or through an encrypted tunnel. Okay, so we've got this, and in the background, you may have seen that this connector ID, which I've got blurred, it has popped up on its own. So once we're good to go there, we can click next. And now we can actually start setting up our actual tunnel here. So what we're going to do is actually come back over here to our CloudFlare main dashboard here, and I'm going to click edit. And then I'm going to delete the dbtech.com. I'm actually going to copy that, and I'm going to delete it like so. And then what I'll do is I'll come back over to here. So we're going to fill out some information here. So basically it's going to be, if you have a subdomain that you're trying to point to, you can put that in right here. I don't, so I'm just going to select dbtech.com right there at the top. I don't have any subdirectories or anything I got to point to, so I'm going to leave that next spot blank. And then I'm going to select HTTP. However, you can do HTTPS, you can do TCP, SSH. There's lots of different options on ways you can tunnel through this. So for the sake of what I'm doing, I'm just going to select HTTP. So I've selected HTTP here. What I want to do is actually find the IP address of my Docker container, or my Docker server more specifically. In this case, I know it's 192.168.1.61. That's what I've got over here in Portainer, right up there. And I'm looking for my main dbtech container, and I just happen to know that it's 6999. So I'll come back over and I will add that to the end, 6999. And then we're going to click Save Proxmox Tunnel. Okay, so now that I have my tunnel set up, if I actually come over here and load this up, we can see that it is working. So the next thing we want to look at is actually how to restrict access based on an IP address. So basically only your IP address can access your stuff. So let's take a look at how to do that now. Okay, so now that we have our tunnel set up, what we want to do is actually come over here to our applications. We're going to add an application. We're going to do a self-hosted application. And then what we're going to do is give it a name, dbtech. We're going to select our domain. You can add a logo here if you'd like to. Completely up to you. We're gonna click the box there, but then we're going to skip it. It's just a little thing. We're gonna click next. We're gonna give it a name. I'm gonna say IP, and then I'm going to bypass, and that's fine. I'm going to include IP ranges. And then just to make sure that hopefully this will work the way I want it to. I haven't actually tested this. I'm going to just do, if you're accessing this from 1.1.1.1, then you can access this. I'm going to click next. There's some additional settings here that you can add if you'd like to. I don't think that it's necessary for most of us. I'll click add application. Right there. So now we've got that. So hopefully let's refresh this. Okay, there we go. So the other thing was cached on that. And basically, because my IP address isn't 1.1.1.1, I can't access this. So I'm going to close this. And then what I'm going to do, we've proven that the authentication works, or that the trust in there works. So what I'll do is I'll come back over to here. I'm going to actually edit this. I'm going to click edit, and I'm just going to bypass for everyone and click save. We'll give this a moment to do its thing in the background, right? And then dbtech. And now we're back up and running just that quickly and easily. So we just actually set up our first domain name through CloudFlare Tunnels. It's really just that easy. So let's actually do analytics next. So what we want to do is actually come back over to our tunnels screen here. We're going to go to configure. We're going to go to public host names. We're going to add a public host name. For this time, we're going to do analytics.dbtech.com, like so. My service will be HTTP, and then my IP address is going to be 192.168.1.61. And then let's come back over to here to get my Matomo. So 8384, and then we'll do this. Now, I'm doing this wrong on purpose, so 8384, and save host name. Hey, look, there's already a CNAME record with that information. So what we'll do is we'll come back over to here. I'm going to delete this CNAME and click delete. And then we'll come back over to our tunnel. Now, I wanted to show that on purpose so that if you get that error, you'll know why, because you've already got a CNAME record in your list of CNAME records. So I'm in there, deleted it. I'm gonna click save hostname. There we go. So we've got dbtech and analytics.dbtech.com. I'm gonna go back to my applications. I want to add an application. Again, a self-hosted application. My application name will be analytics. Of course, you can name this whatever you'd like it to be. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna paste that in there. I'm going to add that to dbtech.com. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to check that. I'm going to check that. I'm going to click next. Again, we're going to say IP, allow, and then, we're going to do bypass. And then we're going to just say everyone for that sake, and then we'll click next. And then again, there's cores and there's cookie settings and additional settings, things like that. We can click add application. And now, again, if we do analytics.dbtech.com, we are again up and running. So we're good to go there. Now, if I wanted to make it so that you had to, I don't know, get email authentication or something like that in order to prevent anybody from accessing your website, your service, your whatever, we're going to add a layer of authentication between the public-facing world and your applications. So they'll have to get authentication before they can access your application, right? Makes sense? So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here. We're going to go back to applications. We're going to go to analytics here, like so. I'm going to click edit. Okay, so this is the setup that I had for dbtech Analytics. Again, this is just me doing some testing. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this. We're going to call this email instead, just so I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow, and then I'm going to select emails. You could, of course, select any number of things here. IP ranges. IP ranges is actually kind of neat. We'll come back to that. Anyway. We're going to select email, and I'm going to add an email address here. Like so, and hit enter like that, and click save policy. There we go. We're going to open in a new, like so. So now I'm at analytics, or I went to analytics.dbtech.com, and I was brought here. Now, in order for me to get access to this site, I have to put in an email address to get a code. Like so, and send me a code. And then after a few minutes, you should get an email that looks like this. So we're going to copy that code right there. I'm going to come back over to here, paste that in there, and click sign in. And here we go. Of course, it's throwing an error at the top because I've got an ad blocker on here for analytics, but now we're able to access our setup here. Now, if we wanted to make it so that we can access this if we're on our own IP address, like say we're at home, right, and we don't want to have to put in authentication or get an email or something like that, what we can do is actually, let's just delete this one just so that we don't have to worry about that policy there. We're going to add a policy. I'm going to do, again, IP address or just IP there. I'm going to bypass. And then what I'll do is I will come over here, I'll select IP ranges. And then what you'll do is you'll put your IP address in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just paste mine in there. I'm gonna do a /32 and hit enter. And then I'll click add policy. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll do like so. And okay, now we're logged in, we're on the login screen because I'm on my IP address. So let's actually enable a VPN to give me a different IP address and refresh this page. All right, so I've connected to my VPN. Here we go. So now it is 70.39.113.197. Of course, that is not my home IP. That's what I've got from private internet access. I'm going to refresh this page. And hey, look, I don't have access to that page anymore because I'm on the wrong IP address. So just to make sure that we can fix this again, I'm going to disable my my VPN here and refresh. And there we go. So that shows that we can restrict by IP address. We can restrict by email address. There's lots of different ways you can do that. In fact, with the IP address thing here, let's actually come back just real quick. So right here where it says IP addresses, of course, I've got one in here that is blurred. That is, of course, that's my home IP address. You can't see that, but you can add multiple IP addresses to this. So, you know, again, just for demonstration purposes. Right, so anybody who's got any of those IP addresses will then be able to access any of the stuff that I've got set up here. So you've got lots of different options on how you can restrict things, whether it's saying, hey, only people that put in this email address or these email addresses. You can do the same thing with email addresses that I did with IP addresses here. You can put in, of course, IP addresses. So one thing I almost forgot to mention with regards to IP restrictions and things like that, when you're out and about, let's say you're out at the grocery store or whatever, and you've got your cell phone and you're either connected to your data connection through the cell phone provider or the sketchy Wi-Fi that the store has or whatever, because you're not on your home's IP address, you can't access your stuff. Well, some VPNs out there, PIA, for example, allows you to purchase a dedicated IP for your VPN connection. So then you can get that dedicated IP from your VPN, add that to the allowed IP addresses, and still access all of your stuff when you're out and about via the VPN on your phone or your tablet or whatever the case is. So the other thing that we can do here is come over here to settings, go to authentication, click on add new down here where it says login methods. And there are lots of different options here as well for third-party logins, whether it's Google or Facebook or I think GitHub or LinkedIn or whatever. Of course, you will have to have app keys and those sorts of things. What's great about this though, let's say I wanted to integrate GitHub into this. It walks you through step by step how to add that third-party integration for authentication to your stuff. So they've done a really, really good job with their documentation. So I love that they've made this super, super simple to set up. Of course, that being said, what I want to do next is actually go in and disable ports 80 and 443 on my router. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open Deco. I come over to here. I'm going to go to Advanced. I'm going to find port forwarding. Here is port 80 and port 443. I'm going to go ahead and delete both of those. Okay, so I've deleted all of my port forwarding here. So what I want to do here is actually come back over to my desktop here. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh that page. Here we are. My port forwarding has been disabled. dbtech.fans is still up. dbtech.com still up. Everything's working. Everything is still functioning, even though I've got no port forwarding set up on my network any longer. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, it would really mean a lot to me. If you gave the video a thumbs up, really would help me try to boost this video just a little bit. So of course, if you've got questions, comments, thoughts, whatever, leave that in the comment section down below. I will have links to all of the reading material for this also in the description down below, so you don't have to try to figure out where I was. I'm also going to put together a full write-up on this so that you'll have access to it and kind of follow along that way if you're more of a visual person with reading instead of videos. All of that will be available in the description down there as well. Also, while you're in the description, there will be several different ways you can support the channel if you'd like to do that, whether it's PayPal or Patreon, or I've added Cash App and Venmo. Of course, these are all just options. If you found the video helpful and would like to say thanks that way. I've also launched a members-only website called dbtech.fans, and that will be linked in the description down there as well. That will give you early access to all of my videos. Also, if you're a patron, if you're a channel member, or you're a member of dbtech.fans, all of the videos will be available early and completely ad-free. So something to think about if you're interested in that. But with all of that said, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. So thanks for your time, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.